dude. Thank you. First off, I like thanking for parents. Actually, without them, I wouldn't be here today. Actually, before I get started my testimony is actually about consistency and faith. I'll actually show a small video that actually helped me out. I actually watched this video before GPA, but actually, one of the third years last year, his name is Yasutake Shida. Just him playing this video to me like helped me out so much. So here's a small video.
Is it on?
He's waking up.
You ain't gonna believe this. Well, you used to fit right here. I'd hold you up to say to your mother, this kid's gonna be the best kid in the world. This kid's gonna be somebody better than anybody ever knew. And you grew up good and wonderful. It was great just watching you every day. It was like a privilege. Did the time come for you to be your own man and take on the world? And you did. But somewhere along the line, you changed. You stopped being you. You let people stick a finger in your face and tell you you're no good. And when things got hard, you started looking for something to blame, like a big shadow. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. I'm always going to love you no matter what. No matter what happens. You're my son and you're my blood. You're the best thing in my life. But until you start believing in yourself, you ain't going to have a life. Don't forget to visit your mother.
I honestly felt like through the years, like God talking to me like every day. Okay, so once again, my testimony, I'm just gonna focus on the main point, just consistency, and kind of like how Rocky said, you gotta be willing to take those hits, and I wasn't willing to take those hits when I started out. So I'm gonna start off in Colorado in team leaders training. Yeah, it was a tough time. So, at this one point in my fundraising experience, I was really trying hard to be really consistent in my effort. Just going out there and working really hard and not having any regrets with it. And whenever you make a decision of determination, God will totally test you for that. And He'll make sure that you hold true to it. Only because in the end you end up growing so much and learning so much from it. And so, I struggled a lot with parking lots. There were days where we'd go out, and for days, I would go out and try really, really hard at approaching people, and I would not get so much. And back this time, the easiest way I could see my investment through external results. And so I'd go out there and work hard every day. Always got dropped off at the same Home Depot parking lot. And it sucked. I never got kicked out though. It's surprising, so that only made it okay, but every single day I'd go out, and there are times where I would stop and think like, what is God trying to teach me right now? I don't understand. Like, I'm not experiencing anything right now. Like, nothing's going on. I'm just out here getting rejected. Like, how am I supposed to be growing from this? And so, in this one day we were going out, and we're all getting dropped off, and I was the last drop off, and my captain that day, my team leader, was Cynthia Jones. And I was the last person to get dropped off, and she looks in the rearview mirror, she's looking at me, and she's like, "So how are you doing?" And I'm just like, "Oh, it's tough, but I'm good." And I noticed that's kind of my character, just to go through things on my own, in a way, just try to like learn, but don't have that attitude. Honestly, you're here to grow, and so don't put up any walls between you and your team leader. Don't put any walls between you and God, because if you need help, ask your team leader, because they're there to help you. And so what she told me, I was struggling super hard in parking lot. She's like, "Okay, so I know you've been struggling a lot, and I know you can break through this. So today it's gonna be all parking lot for you." And I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" And that was another hit right there. It was like the biggest hit. So I got dropped off in this Kmart parking lot. And I'm going at it, and it's not so bad at first. Then I get kicked out. Actually, the security guy was just standing there, just watching me the whole time, and he didn't say anything. Then I approached him, then he kicked me out. I was really, really frustrated. And as the days went on, I just started to feel hopeless, like, I'm never gonna break out of this. At first, I was really angry at God, like the fact that this wasn't working. Then the fact, like, I'm angry and I can't do anything about it, but fundraise. It's just like, I got to a point where I just felt hopeless. Like, I felt like this is how it's gonna be, this is what it's gonna be like for me. And this is gonna be my experience, it's just gonna suck. And it all led up to this one day, it's called Ownership Day. You guys definitely go through it. Basically, you don't get picked up. You get dropped off, and you get picked up in like 6 hours later, or 8 hours later, it depends on your team leader. But it was me and James Kernan. Where's he at? Right there. We were partners in this huge mall type thing in Colorado with a lot of parking lots. And yeah, I was just in this whole pit of like self-pity, so it's like, okay, whatever. And so I was back at the same Home Depot, and we started out, and it was really tough, but I thought back to just like, true father, in a way, he's always been going, for 73 years. And of course, I'm sure he felt like sometimes, like, I'm sure there are times where he didn't feel God, where he felt like he wasn't going anywhere. And so I felt like, if this is going to be me just like getting a bunch of rejections, I might as well just try as hard as I can. So I spent 2.5 hours in that Home Depot parking lot. I had 3 huge problems, but I had to just stay there and try to complete it. And so I just kept going at it, just kept taking hits from rejections, and that was the fastest 2.5 hours ever. I was just like, what the hell, I went by so fast. And then like, it was a really great feeling actually. Even though I felt like I didn't get much out of it, I did, because my investment was there and I could feel it. And so actually, at the end of that day, I forgot how long the day was. Let's see, it was a really long day. It all ended up like me and James were in the Safeway parking lot, and yeah, we just went at it, and I ended that day with like more than I ever imagined I could make that day. And I was really happy, but it wasn't like a happiness where it's like, okay, like whenever you break through in fundraising, it's not over. All right, it's kind of like the whole mountain thing. Like you get up to the mountain, and you have to go back down because there's a bigger mountain you got to go up. And so I wasn't ready for that either. And so I was really happy that I broke through. Like, okay, I guess I broke through. Like it paid off in the end. I was able to sort of reach my goal. I was like maybe $20 off or something. And we were driving back to the center. We all had Chipotle that night, so it was a good night. that a huge victory. And so this is all in Colorado. We spent a long time in Colorado. This one week we went to the mountain towns. We were going to fundraise there. It was me, Matt Rogers, and Harumi. And I had this one run where my internal goal was strive for God and true parents.
Strive for God and true parents, up!
Thinking about it now, it was really vague, but I felt like I could focus on each point. Like, okay, I'm going to strive for God and true parents by approaching every single person. I'm going to strive by being really sincere, being really nice to everyone I meet, or like complimenting at least 3 people. And then this one run, this time Rosea Kittle was my team leader, and I feel like she's like one of the captains. Like, she'll ask you questions that will just like probe your mind. Like, she'll confuse you so hard. She'll make you think. And she asked me, one time I was the last to get dropped off again. When you're the last to get dropped off, expect something like that. But she was just like asking me questions. She's like, oh, so Victor, how do you experience God? And I was like, I don't know. So I thought about it. It's like, oh well, I set my internal goal, and I try to hold true to that, and I really work hard, and somewhere along the lines, you can see God in your investments. And all these answers started to make no sense to me. I was like, is that really what I think that is? And eventually she asked me all these questions, and I got really, really confused. I didn't even know how to think anymore. And she told me, like, I told her I was really confused. Like, I'm really confused. Like, I don't know what you want. Like, I don't know what to say. And she said, that's good. And she dropped me off. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I don't know what's going on. She's like, you'll figure it out. And then she closed the door and they drive away, and I'm just like, okay. And so this whole time I'm thinking, like, how do I experience God? And, okay, every single approach will be an opportunity to test that. And so that whole run, that's what I thought of. And the first lady I approached, she's like, oh, I know you. You're one of Urban Moon's people. And I was like, oh. Yeah, those people really intimidated me a lot when I was out there, but I was like, okay, I'm going to experience God through this. And so I started telling her about my internal goal, like how I'm really trying to experience God, how I don't really understand where I am right now. In the sense of like my life of faith, like I understand how to experience God. And she was really cool. She was like, well, I hope you keep searching. And that's probably the most positive response I've heard from someone that doesn't bash on us for being unificationists. Anyways. And that whole run, that's all I was focused on. I was running between people, approaching them. Of course I was asking for donations, but I consider every single person like as an opportunity to experience God. And so I left that run again feeling really good. I was reporting, and then I was like, so yeah, it was a great run. I really felt like I was really trying hard to experience God. I restored this, and I was really happy once again. And this time when I told her that, she was really happy for me too. And this time she told me, like, once you break through, you must always expect a bigger challenge or something. And I was like, can I at least have a moment? Anyways. So, a few days down the line, I'm still not really out of this whole like self-pity thing. I was still really bummed that I'm not able to like do what I'm saying I'm gonna do. Not really able to like hold sincerity in my external goals. And so this time I was leader of the day. Hopefully you guys all get a chance to experience that. And I was really excited. I was like, the first drop off actually, I was telling these guys like, all right guys, this is the day. I didn't even know what I was talking about, but I was just like, all right, this is the day, guys. Like, we're gonna do this thing. And I was just really pumped. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna be the standard and whatnot. Like, these guys are gonna have a great day. And the day sucked. I came back. Yeah, so when you're a leader of the day, you get dropped off last, you get picked up first because in a way you're sort of guiding the team. And so, Matt and Mimi were my team once again. They're having like really awesome experiences, really awesome reports. And I was fundraising, I couldn't do anything. I felt like I couldn't support the team, so it just felt like really, really crappy. And needless to say, it was a whole day of fundraising. Okay. I ended up making $80 that day, so I was really mad. And we had a morning blitz, and actually that was the day Hermie broke 1,000 for the first time. So I was really happy for her. She's awesome. But I was really back into this like self-pity thing again. I was really down, and I was really trying to have faith that this will work out. Like I'll experience God. And Matt was going to be the leader the next day, and he said, we're like, okay guys, tomorrow we're doing small towns. They're really small for all of us, so we're just going to get dropped off in each town. Like, Victor, you're going to have your own town. Maybe you're going to have your own town. And I was really, really negative towards that. And he was naming the town. All I can remember from this, like, from that night was like, there's Paonia. And I was like, okay, that's a cute name. I got dropped off in Paonia. And I was really, really negative that day. And so I just like, okay, I'm just going to go out there and do this thing again. Like, God, if you have something for me, can you please just show it to me? Because I do not know what's going on right now. And I just went. And it was as usual again. All of a sudden, like, nothing was happening. I was approaching people, just getting rejections. Then all of a sudden, I was in this bar. It was in the morning, so barely anyone was there. It's like 5 people. And I approached everyone, and I got rejected, so I was going to leave again. And then one of the guys was like, actually it was a lady, she's like, actually can I take a look at that one more time? And then she buys like a smaller one. Then everyone gets one. And then I'm like, okay. And so I have this town all to myself, and so I just keep going. And all of a sudden, it's like the spirit world just clicks. Everything just changes. And all of a sudden, everything started coming back to me. And I wasn't doing anything different. I was doing the same thing I'd been doing for the past 2 weeks. But this time it was working. And I just kept going, and I had my run record that day. And the rest of that day was just really, really, really consistent. I was able to have my PR that day. And I was just like, yeah, I was really happy. But in a sense, I thought back, like, what could I take away from this? And actually, Alejandro que we read, it actually blew my mind that day. Like, I was totally blown away. But it says, in the moment when reality does not give us any reason to have faith, we need to make the choice to believe. Based upon this, our faith is deepened, and we can experience God. So that paragraph, that small quote in itself, answered everything I've been searching for that whole time. And not only because, I mean, of course, external result was great, that's what I was going for, but I started to realize, like, just seeing past that, it's not always about, like, making your goal or making a lot of money at the end of the day, but actually, like, being able to realize, like, what God has been teaching you. Kind of like what Amy was talking about, like, every day God wakes up, or when we wake up, God's internal goal is to make us feel His love. And God was trying to make me feel His love that whole time, but I couldn't. And all of a sudden, I just keep going, and I can't feel His love, but I keep trying anyways. And all of a sudden, it just happens. When you make a goal to be consistent, like I did, I mean, you'll get pushed to the limit, in short. And I definitely was, over and over again. I was definitely taking hits out there. But like Rocky says, like, you gotta be willing to take those hits. And I wasn't always willing to take those hits. I didn't always have the faith I wish I did. But this experience, in short, showed me that, in a way, like, God will kick you to have that faith. He'll whip you into shape. But you gotta be willing to take those hits, and knowing that in the end, you will experience God. And so I'm gonna finish off reading this quote by True Mother. It goes, "He's kicking you because He wants you to be better, because He knows that you can take it. You should be grateful that He kicks you. He's not gonna kick someone He doesn't love or trust." And that's by True Mother. And in short, like, you guys hear us a lot, but God loves you so much, and you have no idea until you go through something like amazingly crazy before you figure it out, and you will cry your face off. But whenever you make a goal, just stick to it. No matter how hard it gets, like, you will make it. You'll make out of it. I mean, you'll make it out of it. But you have to be willing to take those hits, because in the end, you can experience God. Thank you.